na ipatigil yan. Isaraduhan nyo, supilin ang kanilang mga transmitter at mga station at ng lahat ng operation for 6 years. Tama ba, Sas? For 6 years mahigit, walang franchise ang ABS-CBN, hindi hinabol ni Digong na sila ipasarado by the NTC. Tama ba?
Yes, exactly. Diba? Ang SMNI nga, pati ang YouTube video at Facebook, gusto nilang patayin. Na parang, oh wait, no? Ano ba yung pinagpuputok nyo ng butchi? Kung sinasabi yung may kasalanan si Pastor, my Lord, si Pastor ay meron ng kaso sa United States. Malakarin ninyo yung yung extradition case. Hindi nyo naman pinapalakad ang ginawa ninyo, gumawa kayo ng circus, no? Diyan sa Senado, saka sa Congress. And if ever those accusations were true, no, you're actually doing great injustice to your so-called victims. And even to other victims na ginagawa ninyong circus yung kanilang issue. Hindi nyo sila binitindi, hindi seryoso yung inyong ginagawa. And of course, you are going against one of the basic principles of rule of law, which is to presume the innocence of someone.
Exactly.
No?
Sas, malipat kami sa isang panibagong topic. Babalikan natin yan pag may pagkakataon. Before ko ipasa kay Ma'am Lorraine. Right now, nababahala ang buong bansa. Nakatunghay sa Pilipinas dahil dito papunta ang isang main regional conflict na proxy ang dating. At no less than the sister of the sitting president, si Senator Amy Marcos, ang nag-warn about Executive Order 57, particularly Section 7, kung saan automatic ang Pilipinas ay tatanggap ng anumang forma ng aid. At alam natin, Sas, ito ay kapareho sa Ukraine na promesa ng NATO at ng Amerika. At ngayon, nakikita natin ang konflikto sa China at Pilipinas sa pinag-aagawang body of water at mga ilang bato-bato dyan sa napakalawak na area na yan, na wala namang tao talaga dyan na nakatira pa, ay militarized ang approach. Series of exercises ng mga naval maneuvers at iba pang mga Air Force, air assets, nagmomobilize at para bang sarado na ang diplomatic channel sa makabuluhan at mapayapang pag-uusap sa China ng bansang Pilipinas, kundi militarized ang approach at hindi diplomatic approach. Sas, your take on this very current situation na hinaharap ng bansang Pilipinas?
You know, Eric, when I first met Lorraine in February 2017, she asked me about my exactly the same question about the foreign policy of the Philippines, but it was actually related to Duterte. Kasi doon naman ako nakilala bilang vlogger about the South China Sea policy. So, and of course, everyone was still under the spell of the Aquino administration during that time about the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea brouhaha. So they couldn't fully understand what Duterte was doing. So when Lorraine asked me about that, you know, I told her na, you know what, the key issue of China in the South China Sea is really that their trade routes.
Is what? I'm sorry, say it again.
Their trade routes. Their trade routes.
Trade routes.
Trade routes. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So that is really their key concern there. It's really, and especially in their history, their most devastating wars were launched from the South China Sea.
Yes,
that's why you cannot kick them out there. It's a very impossible. It's a very impossible situation. And of course, dahil kapitbahay mo yan, no? You know, the South China Sea is like your shared garden. You know, yung mga nakatira sa mga complex, di ba? Meron kayo dyang garden in the middle of everything. That is basically South China Sea in your every experience. That's why you cannot kick them out there. You can actually negotiate on how you can equitably use the South China Sea, especially something like the South China Sea, which is a sea. No, it's a semi-enclosed sea, and because of that, you know, one action of one coastal state can affect the entire ecology. That's why it has to be a coordinated action. Hindi ganito ito nakikita ngayon ng BBM administration. They are still thinking as if they are in the 19th century. na okay, makipag-agawan tayo, hatiin natin ang dagat. You know, they feel that they can actually divide the sea and divide the sea and protect themselves from the rest of what's happening around the South China Sea. That is actually 19th century thinking. And ngayon, nagagamit ngayon tayo ng ng ibang bansa. Kung titingnan nyo itong mga bansang ito, Australia, United States, EU as a whole, and even Japan. What is common among all of them? They all have trade disputes with China. And what is the bottom line of their trade disputes? They would like to access the 1.4 billion market of China. Okay? At na nakikita natin dito is, kasi nga China, as much as possible, they wanted to actually support their domestic industries. That's why they're heavily subsidizing, no, their infant industries, and then after they have become competent, is saka nila siguro i-open up yung market nila. And this is nothing new in the history of the world. China did that as well in the 19th century. They closed their sometime in 17th, 18th, 19th century, they closed their markets. The Europeans wanted to forcibly open it. Diba? Tayo ngayon ang nagagamit dito. And nakakalimutan kasi ng mga Pilipino, no? What are the primary reasons why the United States wanted to actually possess the Philippines? They didn't actually, it wasn't actually in their plan, no? It possessed Filipinas, but then there were justifications that were offered, and chief of them is that the Philippines is their gateway to the market of China.
Yes.
That was in the 1890 during the, kasi they cannot justify bakit i-occupy ang Philippines. You know, the United States during that time was an anti-colonial country, and then suddenly they become an imperialist. Or colonizer, so they have to justify it to their citizens. So and then eventually the role of the Philippines to the United States evolved from being an access to the Chinese market. It assumed a very strictly military significance, and that is as their forward operating base to their operation towards any country in Asia. No, so on all military operations of the United States in Asia, the Philippines played a very huge role.
May binabanggit ang China na hindi sila nagme-militarize ng South China Sea issue sapagkat 2 decades ahead, nag-put up na ang Amerika dito ng OSPACOM noon, yung US Pacific Command, na ngayon ay Indo-Pacific Command, which is nandyan ang kanilang mga barkong pangdigma. Hindi kumibo ang China dahil hindi pa ginigiit ng Amerika noon ang teorya ng freedom of navigation, rules-based na engagement, which alam ng China na ang gusto niyang i-control yung sinasabi mong trade routes. At para hindi halata, dahil malayong-malayo siya, 10,000 miles away siya, dito sa area na to, kailangan niya magkaroon ng mga proxy to assert ng ganyang claim ng rules-based engagement, on-clause-based, at saka freedom of navigation, na hindi sinasang-ayon ng China kasi sabi niya, hindi, ikaw ang nagme-militarize ng lugar na ito. Ikaw ang nag-put up ng Indo-Pacific Command. Anong purpose ng Indo-Pacific Command na yan? Giyera at digmaan ang pinaghahandaan nito. Tama ba, Sas, na doon tayo nahihila sa interest na yan ng Amerika na kontrolin ang trade routes at ang trade engagement niya ay ididikta ng kanyang military presence. At gusto niyang bitbitin ang Pilipinas dyan, kaya may EDCA at mayroong basing na mga programa siyang na ilulusot niya sa current government na pinayagan ng gobyerno ni Bongbong Marcos Jr. Kung kaya inabot natin itong kiskisan at girian sa China na hindi natin nakita noong panahon ng Duterte government. Sas, your take on that.
Well, kailangan natin klaruhin, no, kung anong freedom of navigation ang gusto ng United States. There are 2 types of navigation. One is commercial, that is your merchant ships, as that's been traditionally known, and of course, warships. Okay? Traditionally, okay, pre-colonial times ng Asia, may freedom of navigation na tayo, no? Mayabong ang maritime trade routes or routes, or however you want to pronounce it, and of course, ang Silk Road, no? It was very flourishing, diba? It's unknown to our ancestors, itong freedom of navigation of warships. It's because it was not necessary. The number one problem ng ating mga ancestors or our Asian ancestors ay ang mga pirates. So mga private, ito yung mga privateer, no? Yung mga pirates, privateers, ganyan, na humaharang ng mga ships. That is their number one problem. Hindi yung mga political communities around because they don't really hindi talaga nila nakikita ang need to produce warships, no? Na mga land soldiers pa, yes. And then the Europe actually copied the freedom of navigation custom of Asia, no? And it was actually used to justify the Dutch seizure of this ship. Ngayon, recently lang itong warship ang naging attached sa freedom of navigation. This is very, very new development in the history of the world. It is just in mid-1930s, the United States originally believed that freedom of navigation is only freedom of navigation for merchant ships. It was said by representative to the island of Corfu case. It was in the early 20th century. Elias Root ba ang pronunciation nun? Elias Root. Sabing, warships threaten. Merchant ships do not. Kaya ang understanding ng United States, walang freedom of navigation ang warships. And then eventually, it became a very strong country. Doon na niya na pinaglaban ang freedom of navigation ng warships. Okay? Wala po tayong nakikita na freedom of navigation regarding warships na naaantala dyan sa Indo-Pacific. Otherwise, tumoto-todo ng inflation. Okay? Kung naantala ang freedom of navigation ng warships because it's very, you know, as anyone in the maritime industry, any disturbance in the trade routes ng mga sa sea will actually raise up the, what do you call that? Insurance. Okay? Insurance cost. No? At tataas yung presyo ng logistics. Wala pong ganyan dyan. Ang pinag-aawayan dyan, ang position dyan ng Amerika, ang freedom of navigation of its warships. At hindi lang po China ang kaaway dyan ng United States. Yan ang alam ng mga Pilipino. If you go to the freedom of navigation operations ng United States, which is actually available online for everyone to see, that's why, that's why this is not, you don't need some lit imagination. Makikita mo ang kanyang mga ayaw na nangyayari sa Asia. Ayaw ng United States, for example, ng prior notification ng mga warships niya na dumadaan sa territorial sea. Can you imagine? In the territorial sea of any country. Ayaw din niya yung mga laws banning nuclear-powered submarine or warships na dumadaan
kasi lahat ng warship nila nuclear-powered at nuclear-loaded.
Yes, exactly. That's why, who actually started militarizing the South China Sea? It was actually the Europeans. Yes. Before them, the Indo-Pacific, yung tinatawag nila ngayon Indo-Pacific, was actually just for trade. It was actually just merchant ships, no? Although yung mga merchant ships noon may mga tinatawag na local police in order to protect from the pirates, but it was still just dominated by merchant ships. It was them who militarized it. Yeah. It kailangan nila i-militarize kasi nga kinolonize nila tayo, no? In every country, almost every country in Asia. So ngayon, nagbabangayan tayo ngayon. I-militarize mo, anong gusto mong gawin ng China? So we are now stuck in a classic action-reaction situation. No? Kaya nga hindi ito po pwede. Yes.
Sas, may dadagtang si Ma'am Maureen.
Yung action-reaction na yan, wasn't something that we signed into when we voted for Bongbong Marcos because he did promise very clearly that he wasn't going to put us in this position. So, my question to you, Sas, no, paano nangyari yung turnaround na ito? What do you think happened here? Because he was very clear. Now, he knew exactly. Now, he cannot claim ignorance or anything like that because very clear yung pronunciation niya we can play back to you a lot of videos of him saying everything that you're saying, no? That this is a no-win situation for the Philippines to get into. Pag bumahing ang US at China, mawawala ang Pilipinas sa mapa, etc. He knew exactly. So now he knows exactly that he's bringing us to the verge of war. Is a no-win situation for the Philippines, no? So, anong tingin mo nangyayari dito? And could you tie it up, no? Kasi piniplay up kasi talaga itong ina-agitate yung tao, no?
Yeah.
And you shared with me last night, itong bagong resolution ba ito ni Senator Jinggoy about disinformation, no? In the West Philippine Sea, etc. And all of this. If you can give us lang a clearer picture of what's going on.
Yes,
how did this come about? How did this series of unfortunate incidents happen na wala ito nung panahon ni PRRD? Peace and progress reign. So,
at bigla nagkaroon, ma'am,
Yeah.
bigla nagkaroon ng Maritime Security Executive Order na kung
Correct.
babasahin mo, iniikutan ang limitations ng Mutual Defense Treaty. Go ahead, Sas.
Yes, exactly. So ang ano natin dito, no, sanay naman ng mga Pilipino sa mga politikong binabago-bago nila ang kanilang sabi, no?
Yeah.
Pero ito ay nangako continuity ng policy ni Duterte. That's why, Duterte supporters went behind him.
Exactly.
And of course, because of Sara's trust. Look at Lorraine, no? Si Lorraine para yan si Lisa Ontiveros, bata pa lang sila ay anti-Marcos. Anti-Marcos na yan. No? But BBM was able to provide us a vision for a country na, okay, this guy is really for the redemption of his family name and of course with the redemption of the country from the Yellows.
Naniwala tayo dun, Sas. Naniwala ang taong bayan dun.
Kahit si Pastor, naniwala doon.
Diba yun ang narrative, diba? Yun ang narrative. Ngayon, bigla ka nagbago. Hindi pa umiinit yung mo dyan, yung upuan mo sa pagiging presidente. Bigla mong tinanggal yung balat mo, no? At nakita namin ang mong kulay. Diba? At wala ka man lang explanation kung bakit nagbago ka.
Yes.
Hindi ba normal lang naman yan sa mga Pilipino? Pag may nagbago na kaibigan mo, nagbago yung nanay mo, nagbago yung jowa mo, tatanungin mo, friend, bakit nagbago ka? Paano ba yung presidente, Lorraine and Eric, no? Na nagbago, na 180-degree turn, na hindi na natin ma-recognize kung sino ba itong nakaupo dyan, or kung siya pa rin ba ang nakaupo, di ba?
And to what do you attribute that, Sas? To what do you attribute such kind of a sudden change that is so dangerous now, putting the country in the verge of a calamitous war if this will not be handled properly? Or
that he didn't even feel like he owed us an explanation to that flip-flop?
Go ahead, Sas.
I think it can be attributed to the people around him. Okay? The Romualdeses, my God, the Romualdeses have been collaborators of the Americans during the colonization. Until now, no? And second, of course, is ano bang leverage ng United States?
Isa yun.
Okay? Diba? And number 3 is baka may gusto rin siya from the United States. Which is not necessarily about the country. No, you're only president for 6.
What do you mean, leverage?
He can only be president for 6 years. And this is the best time. This is the best time for his, in their history as a family, to ever have a chance to unfreeze their frozen assets.
Exactly.
Which are
money.
And we're talking, Sas, we're talking about, ang kumakalat ngayon sa social media, Sas, dapat ipaliwanag niya ito, almost $1 billion worth of property and assets na nasa Amerika.
In the United States.
Yes, $1 billion. Kasi 40 years ago pa ito, no, na mga assets na frozen at ngayon sabi mo, pagkakataon ito para ma-redeem, mabawi at mapagkamal nila itong mga nakaw na yaman na hinahabol noon ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa kanilang pamilya. Are you saying that leverage?
Yes. Yes. Kasi bakit ba ikaw parang di ba, yan naman ang habol naman talaga nila, ma-unfreeze yung assets nila. And we know that for sure, no? It has been there, that has been out there hindi naman sikreto yan na gusto nilang ma-unfreeze yung assets nila. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yes.
And you are the president of the country, and now you can now have a leverage dito sa mga bansang nag-freeze ng assets mo against the United States. Meron din sa Belgium, meron din in other parts of Europe. Yeah.
Assets, meaning stolen wealth, wealth that they stole from the Filipino people. Is that it?
Well, the language is unexplained wealth.
Unexplained wealth, yeah. But cutting through that BS, it's stolen, right? Okay.
Yung mga plundered wealth, kung ang mga CPP tumawag niyan, plundered wealth, mga ninakaw.
The unexplained wealth, whether you stole it directly from the coffers or you used your position
To amass.
to actually enrich yourself,
Yeah.
no? Maybe you use your position and actually enrich yourself, no? So ngayon is, kailan ba nila ito makukuha? Not anymore, di ba? Bongbong is actually the sole executor now of the Marcos.
Of the Marcos estates and properties and assets.
Di ba?
Correct.
So, bakit hindi niyo sabihin? Ang hilig naman niya mag-deny, di ba? Tinawag pa niya nag-fentanyl si Duterte. Di ba? Mali-mali naman siya. Bakit hindi niya deny? Bakit hindi niya sabihin na wala po akong balak na gamitin ng aking posisyon para i-unfreeze ang aming unexplained wealth? Napakahirap bang gawin yan, Lorraine and Ka-Eric?
Walang maniniwala
I don't
kasi sa
think
kanya,
so.
Sas eh. Walang maniniwala sa kanya na hindi niya gagawin. Ginagawa na niya.
Diba? Now look at Duterte, no? Si Duterte nga wala ngayong pinapapuntang mga kamag-anak sa Malacanang, wala ngayong ina-appoint, no?
Wala.
Diba, even Sara herself says na kailangan nilang makipag-schedule ng appointment para lang magkaroon ng meeting sa kanyang tatay.
Oo.
Cannot see any Duterte kamag-anak, anak, or whatever na nakikialam dyan sa Malacanang.
Yes.
No? So, that is the truth of it. Ngayon, ang dami-dami, hindi mo na ngayon alam kung sino talaga nagpapatakbo.
Babalikan ka namin.
Yeah,
babalikan ka namin ni Ma'am Lorraine kasi we're catching up with the time. May isang tanong na kailangan itanong namin sa iyo para maipaliwanag mo. Ang pagpapaliwanag daw, na kagaya ng pinapaliwanag mo, na hindi digmaan ang solusyon sa pakikipagrelasyon sa China at pagresolba ng hidwaan na ito ay hindi dapat umabot sa militarized approach at parang sabi mo 19th century na kaisipan ng mga kolonyalista. Yeah. Ay ito daw ang pananaw ng mga nagtataksil at mga bagong makapili na funded ng China ang pag-iisip at palalaganap kung si Senator Jingo Estrada pa ng disinformation at dapat imbestigahan daw ito. This is dangerous, Sas, kasi pag nagposisyon ka pala ng tamang mapayapang pamamaraan at diplomasiya bilang opsyon na dapat tinitake ng gobyerno, ay ikaw ay nagpapalaganap ng disinformation at nagiging kasabwat ka ng China interest. How do you like to react and explain that kind of attribution na very unfair and dangerous na ginagamit na nasa kapangyarihan ngayon ng gobyerno ni Bongbong Marcos Jr.?
Well, unang-una, no, dito sa mga senador at congressman na ito, we expect that you would put your children in the front lines of the war. Not in the rear row, not as medics, not as clerks, but at the front lines.
So,
no? Para
we want to see Sandro Marcos, Vince Marcos, the Marcos boys on the front lines. And we want Bongbong Marcos there as well.
And Martin
Romualdez, his children, no, all of them.
Put your children, no? Put your children in the front lines.
Huwag kayong lilipad-lipad sa kung saan-saan.
Magtatago yan siya, Sas.
Di ba?
Good point ang binanggit mo na yan, Sas. Tama ka, kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito, buhay ng buong bansa at ng mamamayang Pilipino. Number 2, Sas.
Number 2, maswerte na ang Pilipinas, no, kung mauwi talaga to ng full-blown war.
Yeah.
Dahil at least makakatanggap kayo ng aid from the United States, like Ukraine, and syempre, ang yayaman uli dyan, mga politiko, no, just like what's happening in Ukraine.
Kay Zelensky, tama ka.
Diba? Hindi pa naman darating yan ng shooting war. Marami pa yan. And the thing is, these people are not explaining to us what could happen to the country. Alam mo sa United States, no, meron silang tinatawag na wargaming. Itong mga media, nag-wargame sila. Kung anong mangyayari no, with American forces kung magkaroon ng gera over Taiwan, ang China and the United States. And then they actually very honest ganito magiging casualties ng United States. Of course, hindi tayo kasama doon because we are just nothing. No, bakit tayo wala tayong ganyan? Bakit hindi niyo pakita sa mga Pilipino on how will this escalate and how will this affect the Filipino people? You know, any disturbance, lahat ng halos ng basic necessities ng mga Pilipino ay ini-import po natin. At saan po dumadaan? Yung mga ini-import natin? The South China Sea.
Yeah.
You know, saan tayo umi-import ng marami? Ang mga ating mga industries, saan sila nag-i-import ng mga cheap raw materials para mabigyan kayo ng mga bilihin na abot kaya ninyo? Saang bansa? Sa China. Diba?
Tama.
Ngayon, kung mag-escalate ito, no? Kung mag-escalate ito, yung inflation nyo ngayon na nararanasan, nako, makikita nyo na mas mayaman pa kayo ngayon kaysa mangyayari yung tumaas ng bonggang-bong na inflation. Wala pang gera yan. Wala pang gera yan. Yung ganyang senaryo. Kung magkaroon na ng gera, nako, you will waste for every 1 year that you are at war, you will waste 10 years of development.
Sas,
no?
Sas,
may interaction si Ma'am Lorraine sa'yo, final.
Sas.
And then your final word para sa saan tayo patungo dito.
Sas, wonderful really talking to you. There's never enough time when I'm talking to you na wonderful. Dami namin natututunan talaga.
Tama.
But you wrote something that I really liked about the Philippines being that we should transition into being a coordinate state. Kasi sinasabi mo ngayon, itong mga leaders natin na nakikita natin, they are dumbing down the discourse. No? Risa Ontiveros, even the president, no? Ina-agitate nila ang mga Pilipino na makipagbangayan. And yet, ang politically mature na bansa ay hindi na ganyan. So could you please expound on that so that that could be your closing statement, also what is our aspiration as a nation?
And where do we want to take this sa gobyerno natin na mapakinggan niya ang boses ng mamamayan, hindi lamang yung boses ng kanya mga imperialista at neokolonyalistang mga amo, kagaya ng Amerika. Sas, go ahead. Where do you like to bring this situation now?
We should have a long-term vision for our country. At gagamit ako ng very good metaphor that could actually make Filipinos see what I'm talking about. How do we want our country to be in 30 years? For me, para sa akin, gusto ko ang bansa ko in 30 years will be able to host the Olympics.
Nice.
And in order for the Philippines, di ba? In 30 years, kasi yan ang China you know, from its opening to its hosting of the Beijing Olympics in 2008, it took them about 30 years. So in 30 years, if that is your vision, no, ka Eric and Lorraine, if that is your vision for yourself that you want to host the Olympics in 30 years, you would set your country in a path of development towards that.
Tama.
Diba? So lahat ng gagawin mo will actually make sense and cohere that vision. Ngayon na nakikita natin dito, ka Eric and Lorraine, ang vision ng gobyernong ito is for the Philippines to host World War III.
Kaya nga.
Ang nakikita natin, ganun nga papunta ang ating bansa. Are we heading towards a country that can host the Olympics in 30 years? Or a country that will host World War III
Very clear.
in 30 years and less? Very clear. And the choice is for the Filipinos. Alam mo, ka Eric and Lorraine, no, and ako, no, halos magkakalapit naman ang ating mga edad. Kung hindi man dumating ang gera na ito in 10 years, it will arrive in 20 years if our foreign policy will continue going this way.
Agree.
Can you imagine kung halimbawa ano na tayo, ano? Uugod-ugod na tayong tatlo, no? At makikita natin na the next generation will suffer for the wrong decisions that our generation did. And we were silent about it.
Yeah,
Kaya dapat tayong magsalita. You know, lalo na tayong papunta na doon sa twilight age, no? Because we are not the ones who are going to suffer the consequences of the foreign policy of Aquino and Bongbong Marcos.
Correct.
Let's call it a spade. It's the Aquino Bongbong Marcos foreign policy.
Agree.
If we don't speak up against this, no? Kung matatakot tayo, bakit naman tayo matatakot? Para naman sa susunod na henerasyon. Mas nanaisin ko na tawagin niyo akong traitor ngayon than to actually see the future generation thinking na bakit yung mga ninuno namin na hindi nila nakita na papunta sila sa bangin.
Tama.
Sas,
No?
Sas,
We have to-
one last question.
Yes.
Is China paying you?
Yeah, briefly,
To speak-
Sas.
And if not, if so, what is your reason for speaking out? Are you being paid?
Hindi po ako
last 2 minutes, Sas.
hindi po ako binabayaran ng China, no. Never happened in my years of vlogging na binayaran ako ng China to speak this way. Ako po ay nag-iisip ng ganito dahil sa aking pinag-aralan sa Europa. You know, I was still in Europe when I started speaking this way. I was very consistent since 2015.
Correct.
It's now 2024. Magte 10 years na, no? Would you pay someone who's consistent in their position? Who is actually receiving payment? Yun yung mga paikot-ikot at paiba-iba ng kanilang sinasabi. Dahil nga ay silang parang jukebox na pag hinulugan mo ng piso, kung ano ang pipindutin nila para ikanta mo, yun ang kakantahin mo. That is the truth of it. Why am I saying this? You know, why am I speaking up? Because if you studied history, you know, it will actually give you a sense of awareness of how things might be and where it will lead. And in my studies, I see that the Philippines is headed not towards the path of being able to host the Olympics in 30 years, but in the path of hosting another world war in 30 years or less.
Unless
So kung yan ang
Unless
nakikita mo sa
as-
inyong bansa,
makikialam
Diba,
ang
if
taong
you
bayan. Unless
unless makialam kayo, this is not just your future but the future of country, di ba? Bakit hindi naman tayo magsasalita tungkol doon, di ba? Since 2015 pa ako sinasabihan ng mga ito, traitor ka, ano ka ng China, ganyan. Ba't hindi ako natina?
Sige, Sas.
No, but
Eh, di
because,
sana-
and Sas, but because you spoke out like this and you're speaking out like this, the Philippines will host the Olympics in 30 years.
Because people
I
are
declare
listening
it.
to us.
Yes.
And people will be the most
Diba?
decisive in this kind of crisis situation we're
Yeah.
facing in our relations with
Yes,
China. Sas,
Wait,
yes,
wait,
go ahead for
ano?
the final
Yeah.
closing mo.
Di ba ka Eric Callerin at mga Pilipino, what you want your children to hear
Yes.
from you?
Yes.
Anak, in 30 years, the Philippines will host the Olympics.
Yeah.
Or anak, in 30 years, the Philippines will host World War III. Yan ang itanong niyo sa sarili niyo ngayon. And then if you want the Philippines will host the Olympics, look at the foreign policy of the president
Correct.
right now.
Tama.
And its principal effects. Do you see your country being able to host the Olympics in 30 years? Or do you see your country being able to host World War III in 30 years? That is the question. No? At ito ay responsibilidad ng bawat Pilipino. Si Maharlika nga na Amerikano niya, nakikita niya na napapunta sa trahilang bansa. 'Di ba? Amerikano na 'yan, ha? No? Nakikita niya yan. Buong tapang niya sinasabi. Kahit sinabi ko kay Maharlika, naku Maharlika, huwag mo i-touch yung China issue dahil baka gurgurin ka sa Amerika. Sabi nga wala siyang pakialam.
Yes.
Dahil nga nagmamahal tayo sa bansa, ayaw nating malagay sa paham yung ating minamahal. That is the truth.
Yes, maraming salamat, Sas. Napakaganda ng talakayan na ito. Bravo for standing up to what is really correct para sa ikabubuti ng bansang Pilipinas na minamahal natin. Some other time, we will discuss more, Sas. Mag-ingat kayo and gabayan ka sa iyong pagsusumikap na mulatin ang taong bayan mula dyan sa iyong kinalalagyan.
Thank you, Sas.
Maraming salamat.
Salamat. Salamat ka, Eric. Salamat, Lorraine.
Ang mga abusadong politiko na may hawak ng kapangyarihan na ginagamit laban sa mamamayan.
Isang network na lumalaban, inigipin pa ng gobyernong ito.